Welcome back, guys, to RGL LAN. We're still on day 2. We just finished up the lower bracket finals between LEGO G6 and Witness Gaming. Unfortunately, I have one of the losers going out after third place.
Not losers.
I mean, that's a very optimistic way of putting it, but no, I'm just kidding. But I have Skeez with me, the medic of Witness Gaming. Very, very, very tough loss to have against G6. How are you feeling, though? Like, just overall coming back, because you last played at the last RGL LAN, the first one, I mean, with G6, and now you're coming back. You took like a 6-season hiatus, and then you came back on a whim, from what I understood, to play for Witness Gaming. How does it feel to be back playing at yet another LAN?
So yeah, how that happened was I think I was pretty done with TF2 until after Boston LAN in August 2022. Witness, they're playing at LAN. They asked a couple people, they couldn't find anyone. Said might as well come hang with the fellas. But how am I feeling? Truthfully, like, very happy. Yesterday was probably the worst LAN. Oh man, how do I word this without being so like terrible? But
It's okay to be pessimistic.
no, we were terrible. We were absolutely terrible yesterday. Yeah, last night we were cooking, switched up some roles. We played actual TF2 today. I got to play the game. It was a good time. After a loss, I'm feeling pretty good. Maybe not as good as like the first place champs, but feeling really good.
Oh, definitely. Like, considering the last LAN and the storylines coming into this LAN, I understood that Witness originally were supposed to play with Weeblacker, but Weeblacker couldn't make it to LAN. So, I mean, when I was talking to High Five, they were like very close down to the wire, figuring out who they wanted to play for medic, and then they found you, and no better person to ask to play medic. So, but I mean, overall this season, what was it like de-rusting and just trying to get back to that top level of invite that you hadn't played for 6 seasons, like I said before?
Right. Well, so partially the reason why I wasn't really playing prior to this season was just work, gym, life, everything. I'm pretty old at this point. Even like leading up to this past week, I was still at like 15 hours past 2 weeks, so I wasn't putting in much time outside of just scrims. And our scrims this season were just terrible. Like, we'd have multiple weeks where we'd play hour and a half the entire week, just teams canceled, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, getting back into it, I kind of had faith that for LAN I would lock in mentally at least. I'd say my mechanics never got to where I was happy with. Like at Boston, at last Philly, at Fullerton, I felt like my mechanics were pretty good.
Yeah.
This LAN, I personally didn't put in the time to get my mechanics as good enough as I wanted to my standards. But that being said, I'm somewhat happy with how I played.
And I mean, also, like you said, with the role changes at this LAN, you originally were coming in with Brand Slam, Flank Scout, High Five Pocket Scout, and then Ash Pocket Soldier. But from what I felt like when I was watching this LAN, and it was a huge stark contrast to the regular season, where High Five, as a Pocket Scout, he likes to kind of have control of the team in terms of how he wants the flow of the game to go and how he wants to call things. But it seemed like at this LAN there was kind of like some kind of like breakdown, or like some kind of a disjointment in the role structure and the overall way that you guys wanted to position and play yourselves throughout the LAN. And I felt like maybe it was just me having armchair insight, but it felt like Brand Slam was kind of lurching towards more of a hybrid role. And I don't know if Ash, like during that BO3 that you guys just played against Witness Gaming, like at G6, was Ash like kind of slotted into the pocket scout role, or was he more of a flank scout? Because traditionally, historically, he was always a flank scout. So I assumed Brand Slam switched to pocket scout after that horrendous map 1.
Okay, so throughout, I'd say as we were scrimming throughout the season, it felt okay online, but yesterday, I don't know what it was. Okay, first of all the other teams really leveled up. Global Clan played well, Froyotech played well, like extremely well compared to how they did online. And G6, right? They're the reigning LAN champs. But they all played really well. We just couldn't get anything going. Our basic fundamentals were breaking down. Just something needed to change. Last night, we were just shooting the crap outside the venue. Someone tossed it out. We did it. And it just worked. I think a lot of people had maybe, I don't know, bad habits just from, because those are kind of the roles they've always played.
Yeah.
Brand Slam on Flank Scout was relatively new, but just a lot of bad habits, needed a breath of fresh air. Could have very well just been a honeymoon, but we played pretty well today. It was the first time in a while I felt like I was able to play the game, because scrims were always really stressful for me. That was partially because my mechanics weren't great, my Uber tracking wasn't great, whatever. I wasn't locked in, but scrims were always hard for me. Like I was fighting for my life every time. But today was super dope. We played real TF2. I got to play the game. It was a good time.
And leading up to playoffs, I mean, in the online regular season, you guys were actually really close with Froyotech, close with Global Clan, close with G6. And I think every time we watched Witness, whether it be on the Fireside or the RGL stream, you guys have this tendency or a habit of like having a very good early start, but then like, as you said, like things just started to break down. So was there, like you said, at the LAN, there was like a breakdown. Was that kind of the same kind of story for you guys at this LAN that you felt like? Because it felt like after you guys had that map one on Metalworks against Global Clan, you guys were going to do pretty well moving forward, but then you just couldn't get past this like invisible like mental block to close out Snakewater after making that comeback down 2-0.
Right. I think I already touched on it, but our just heading into the Global Clan match, there were some like outside factors where like our comms were just, the mics, like everything, the venue was so loud, our comms were terrible. Mics were picking up everything. Where multiple times people made comms, we just didn't hear anything, we couldn't hear it. But even outside of that, we just, as a team, we didn't feel very confident. Didn't feel like we were playing with confidence, didn't feel like we were playing with any pace or like things we were used to. And I wouldn't say that had anything to do with online. Maybe the lack of confidence is just like a LAN thing, but I mean, we just made the swap and we're happy with it.
Okay. And for you personally, I always felt like you as a player, like going even way further back to your ESEA days, I always felt like you were a more calculated, a more reflexive kind of player. And you said that your mechanics were taking a hit this season, especially due to that long break that you had. But at this LAN, I felt very worried for you, especially with that map 3 on Gully Wash versus Global Clan. Run me through like your mental state at that time, because for those who don't know, if you watch the stream back, there were a lot of times where Global Clan did a lot of pinches or flanks behind into whether it be like second lobby or big door into lobby, and then they would skip jump loaf in, kill or 4 skeez, and then there was also that time in the final round where they beefed that last push, and then you guys pushed into mid, I think, after that, but you still died because I guess you guys had dissad. You used into mid, I think, and then what happened was the backstab off of the Uber leapfrog from GC. And so basically, I guess to go back to the original question is, run me through the mental state of yours.
Truthfully, I've been playing competitive games on a team for a while now, probably pushing 10 years. Yesterday was the most tilted I've ever been in my entire career. Like after Snake in between maps between Snake and Gully, I was so tilted. I mean, certainly you can always do something better as a teammate to help out, but it just felt like we were making mistakes that no one should make. Like people just hiding above chokes, both my scouts go through, no one clears it. We just weren't playing well. There's no one thing we could pinpoint it on, we just weren't playing well. That's like I said, as much respect to Global Clan as possible, they should not have been a problem for us. And I think if we were playing as we can or regularly do, then it would have been better. But just things that were unacceptable at like a LAN level were happening over and 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 over. And I was not happy.
But obviously, so I am correct when Brand Slam did switch to Pocket Scout. It wasn't Ash Pocket Scout, or was it Ash?
Today.
Yeah.
Okay, so today was Ash Flank Scout. I mean, we had Viduct. It was like kind of weird on Viduct. Yeah. It was Ash Flank Scout, Brand Slam Combo Scout, Kyle, High Five Pocket, Lazaromer, and then that was the switch.
Mm-hmm. So, and then you said earlier that it was the first time that you could actually breathe and have space as a medic to play. And then after that, I guess you guys just weren't really that comfortable in Viaduct?
No. I mean, 2 of the rounds on Viaduct I think went to like almost either OT or double OT, and one of the rounds I beefed because I dropped Laz on our forwards, and we would have won that round if I didn't. But that being said, yeah, it was close. Like that was a roster we hadn't played with at all, like literally once ever in history, and we felt like we obviously could have been honeymooning, but everyone just everything felt much more comfortable. We were much more confident. We were vibing well. We were playing well, and yeah, I mean, like the psychological aspect of team play can't be understated. Like you need to be feeling well to play well. If you're confident, if you're hyped, you're always hearing Habib on stage yelling. Like that's so important to have in a team. And yesterday it was DEFCON 1. Everyone was on the verge of unspeakable things. But today was good. Today was fun. Had a blast playing TF2. It was a good time.
What would you say it's like that psychological standpoint where like in esports, there's a lot of teams that like they're having a lot of trouble, but then once they like switch things up and they let the pressure off of themselves, would you say that like there was some kind of like mental block that was lifted?
So was there a mental block?
Yeah. Like the pressure's off of you. You guys can actually like freestyle the way that you want to play.
I mean, the concept of like, I mean, I'm sure you've like produced and watched a lot of games. The idea of a team, like you can tell when a team is feeling it and confident. And yesterday was just not that. Today was yeah, I mean, it was definitely loose. We were really loose today. We were happy. We were just playing the game. We were just having fun with our buds. I've known some of these guys for so many years. We were just having fun.
So is it a stinker that you guys didn't make grand finals then?
I mean, yeah, but like we're happy.
But overall, individually yourself, would you say that you're impressed with the way that you were able to come back despite this hiatus?
No, not I was not happy with my standards. I've always prided myself on being like an exceptional LAN player, and I mean that required like preparation and just work that I didn't put in this time around. I wasn't happy with how I played, but it was decent enough, but not to my standards and to the level I've played at previous LANs. So
after this, you've said that you've been really busy with work and all that stuff. Do you see yourself coming back for another TF2 LAN then?
I mean, so after season 6, which was like 2021?
21.
Yeah, 2021. After season 6, I was done with TF2. And then in 2022, I played at 3 LANs. All 3 times, their medic couldn't make it, I rang. Their medic couldn't make it, I rang. Their medic couldn't make it, I rang. And I mean, it was, like, I don't know, these are my friends. I've known them for so long. I'm really competitive. I love being on a team. But can I see myself playing another LAN? I'll never say no. Never say never, but I don't plan on it. But I also didn't plan on attending the last 4 LANs, so.
So we'll wrap it up here. Any shout-outs?
Yeah, shout out to Witness Gaming. Shout out to G6. Shout out to Froyotech, which I was on a team, if people didn't know. Shout out to all my homies. Shout out to Production, Fireside, local host. That's about it.
Can we get a skeez?
Skeez.
That's so monotone. Did you hear this guy? Okay, that wraps it up. Thank you.